It's 12 minutes past 6, and after having emergency hip surgery, our friend, the double amputee Tony Hudgell, has been paid a visit in hospital by someone who really helped kick off his recovery.
Yeah, I love this. Let's have a look at it. Now, retailers say shoplifting has got so out of control that they're having to tackle the thieves themselves.
Yeah, with shoplifting at a record high in England, according to the Home Office. One shopkeeper says he's had to carry out more than 50 citizens' arrests just over the last 2 years, as Charlotte Cox reports.
Weeks ago. In the Times today, there's a great story that suggests that actually being a Disney princess is not great for your health. I think I could have told them this, John. It's really bad for you to try and be a Disney princess. Yeah, no one wins.
Well, this is a study that's been published in the British Medical Journal today. It's been done by some Dutch academics who've gone through all the Disney movies and they've made a list of all the potential health problems that the princesses might suffer. For example, it says Cinderella was at risk of occupational lung disease because of all the ashes from with the pan.
She was working in the kitchen.
And her fairy godmother spread massive quantities of magical glitter, which contain aluminium-coated microplastics, which again could only increase her risk of lung disease.
Yes. I'm sold.
No,
let's not be Disney
Pocahontas
princesses.
was at risk of serious bone fractures from diving into a waterfall.
Yes.
Jasmine from Aladdin, risk of social isolation after being trapped in a castle, and Rapunzel's hair meant that she was at risk of traction alopecia.
And back pain and neck pain as well, apparently.
Merry Christmas.
Yes. I think let's go
Party
for a more modern
Disney.
Yeah, Disney princess maybe these days.
It's
quite like
20 past 6.
Now, despite being told he would never drive, car fanatic Declan Spencer never let his disability stop him passing his test in a specially adapted mobility van.
The 24-year-old had a muscle wasting condition known as Duchenne muscular dystrophy, but he always dreamt of driving around a famous German racetrack. And after he passed away earlier this year, his mum decided that she would finish his bucket list on his behalf, as our social affairs editor Alison Holt reports.
Now, as environmentally conscious in life as they are in death, funeral directors say an increasing number of people are choosing a more sustainable send-off.
According to recent research, one gas cremation produces the same amount of carbon dioxide emissions as a return flight from London to Paris. Our reporter Lizzie Steele speaks now to some of those who are choosing instead an eco-burial. That's our reporter Lizzie Steele.
Now, it's 6:38 and today is the final day of the Post Office inquiry. Since 2022, evidence and testimonies have been given by sub-postmasters and postmistresses who were wrongly prosecuted due to the faulty Horizon IT system.
This morning, Nina, sewage, that is according to the UK's Environment Watchdog this morning.
The Office for Environmental Protection carried out a 2-year investigation after receiving a number of complaints about the state of our waterways.
So look at the two solicitors.
The lyrics and that video.
There'll be people screaming right now because there's that Whamageddon thing where you try to avoid hearing it for the entire month.
Of course.
And now, without any warning, we've just
ruined it.
That for anyone. But how you can possibly avoid it, I've no idea.
It's everywhere. It's a great song.
Let's get the news, the travel and weather where you are. See you with the headlines in a minute.
Day for John today.
Yeah, well, we also need to apologise to Frank in Musselburgh because, you know, we were talking about Whamageddon, where people try to get to Christmas without hearing Last Christmas.
Yes.
Well, Frank was doing really well until half an hour ago when we said Andrew Ridgeley was coming in and we played Last Christmas. He says, thanks, BBC Breakfast. I got all the way to this point. Can you give me a warning next year?
And it was just the sleigh bells. We played a little bit of the sleigh bell section, didn't we?
That's all you need. One bell ringing and Frank's Whamageddon.
I don't know why are people avoiding it. It's such a great tune.
It is. And Andrew Ridgeley here in an hour's time.
I'm saying that obviously because he might be listening. It's a great tune.
Carol's here with us in the studio this week. They love it. 3.5 hours of, back to back to back. If you'd like to travel and weather from our teams around the UK, see the headlines in a moment.
Well, on the day that Sarah Sharif's killers are due to be sentenced, the government is unveiling new laws aimed at protecting children like her. Sarah was taken out of school after her father and stepmother became aware that safeguarding concerns had been raised.
So the Children's Wellbeing and Schools Bill will include new powers to withdraw the right to home education from parents of the most at-risk children. Let's speak to Henry about this. Christmas Unwrapped, that documentary. It's a great watch, isn't it?
It's fab, lovely. Yeah. It's on BBC iPlayer right now.
iPlayer to watch, yeah.
Morning Live follows breakfast on BBC One.
Thank you to all of them. I mean, no matter how many times you hear those stories, it's just still
astonishing that it happened.
Gobsmacking, isn't it? What they've all been through. We'll, of course, continue to cover their stories into the future as well.
It's just coming up to 9:15. Carol is a 1-year-old D-Day veteran who, armed with just a knife, cleared mines from one of the beaches in Normandy, has been honoured for gallantry for a second time.
His name, Jim Laughlin, and his original medals were stolen a few years ago, but now he's been presented with replacements during a special ceremony at his care home in Accrington. And our reporter, Phil Cunliffe, was there. Oh, Jim, he looks great,
We're
doesn't
going
he?
to live forever. Fresh air and
Absolutely.
clean living.
That's the recipe. Good luck to him.
Now, tonight we're going to find out who is 2024's BBC Sports Personality of the Year. Going to do the job.
I reckon John's going wine rather than wine gums.
Yes.
Stay with us. Headlines coming up just after 7:30 on Tuesday morning, a week till Christmas, and you're watching Breakfast. Sally Nugent and John Kay. Thank you for joining us.
Is it a week till
Christmas? Well, it's a week and a day.
Yes,
Christmas
nearly,
Eve
yes.
is as good as Christmas in my books.
Christmas Eve is almost better sometimes, I think, isn't it?
Right. I think you're right.
And we will be with you, of course, across Christmas and the New Year here on the programme.
We've even got Andrew Ridgeley from Wham here.
To make us all feel really Christmassy.
Talk about last Christmas, next Christmas, this Christmas, the lot.
Every
Looking
Christmas
forward
with
to
that song.
We're also going to be talking Ask the Midwife as well. So, yeah, a busy programme as we mix up the news and lots of entertainment as we look ahead to the festive season.
Now, the government has unveiled new legislation aimed at protecting the most at-risk children. It comes on the day that the father and stepmother of Sarah Sharif are sentenced for her murder.
Under the new Children's Wellbeing and Schools Bill, parents will no longer have an automatic right to educate their children at home if that child is subject to a protection investigation or plan. Let's speak live on Breakfast to the education after 7:15. And the mother of teenager Martha Mills, who died of sepsis after hospital failings, says the trial of a phone line for concerned families has already saved lives.
Data from 143 hospitals trialling the scheme known as Martha's Rule shows that more than 1 in 10 calls made to the service led to life-saving treatment changes, according to NHS England. Our health correspondent Sophie Hutchinson reports. Well, on the day Sarah Sharif's killers are due to be sentenced, the government is unveiling new laws aimed at protecting children like her. Sarah was taken out of school after her father and stepmother became aware that safeguarding concerns had been raised.
Yeah, so the Children's Wellbeing and Schools Bill will include powers to withdraw the right to home education from parents of the most at-risk children. Let's speak to Henry about that.
Andrew, what do you think? Are they in the remake? I think we might be.
It's 8:27. Let's get the news, the travel and weather where you are. See you in a minute. So killed. More detail on that story on the BBC News website and app.
But today is the final day of the Post Office inquiry, and since 2022, evidence and testimonies have been given by sub-postmasters and postmistresses who were wrongly prosecuted because of the faulty Horizon IT system.
There have been so many moments, haven't there, during the last 2 years. Nina's in Central.